listeners, welcome to the MedReach podcast by MedReach Knowledge Sharing Forum, top notch talk with healthcare experts. I'm your host Roshna. Let me give you a quick insight about what is MedReach Knowledge Sharing Forum. We are the only forum to focus on healthcare management knowledge sharing. Our forum helps you to connect with healthcare industry experts. MedReach Knowledge Sharing Forum is the right place to share best practices, interesting queries and articles respect to the healthcare field. To share and seek in all the fields of healthcare industry, join with us today. Visit knowledge.medreach.in. Guess what? Today we have a honorable CEO of X Factor Innovations, Mrs. Chitra Bhaskar, to join with us. She have more than 18 years of experience in healthcare marketing field. She have industry knowledge in digital marketing, online advertising, social media marketing, hospital branding, key account management, e-branding, medical conferences and whatnot. We are so glad to join with you today, Mrs. Chitra Bhaskar. Pleasure is ours. How are you doing?
Hi, Roshina. Pleasure to be here. I'm doing good. How are you, Roshina?
I'm doing so good. Thank you so much, ma'am. Welcome to the MedReach podcast. Tell us about yourself.
Yeah, I'm Chitra Bhaskar. I'm a marketing consultant for hospitals. There are two brands I run, X Factor Group of Companies and Redwood Group of Companies. We have been working for nearly 40 hospitals in South India, helping more than thousands of doctors in business development. Right from a small 20-bedded clinic or a nursing home to 2,000-bedded medical college. We have been able to help various needs of hospital marketing.
That's really nice, ma'am. According to you, what is the objectives of healthcare marketing?
I find marketing is the lifeline of a hospital. Many unethical practices can be averted if marketing is strong. Throughout my career, from the beginning, I have seen doctors being shy of marketing all these years. But fortunately, the entire scenario has changed. Now, I would say marketing is the backbone of an organization, and ethical backbone is the only way for a successful hospital's business growth.
Good reminder about the ethical practices. Of course, it's essential in all the fields. So, what makes the major difference between marketing in healthcare and other fields?
Roshina, people should remember there is a huge difference between the product marketing and hospital marketing. We have very strong bodies in hospitals like MCI, always watching what you are communicating, number one. And patient's behavior is totally different, and the way you communicate to a patient would be totally different. Word of mouth is extremely important for a hospital marketing compared to anything else, because brand loyalty or a doctor loyalty of a consumer is much higher in a hospital compared to a product company. There is a very stringent or a strict rule by MCI what to talk, how to talk, but in products you can be actually very free. You can, when I work for a product company, because sometimes I get references to work for a builder or an FMCG company, the way I can do marketing or communicate to the public, like I could say, hey, come on, come and buy because I'm best. But this can never be done at in a hospital marketing. And marketing in a hospital actually can start from inside the hospital. In other industries, marketing can happen outside the factory, outside the manufacturing unit, or outside the shop. But here, many activities start from inside the hospital. I can give you a couple of example. Patient coming in, he or she looks at the credentials of that particular doctor. For example, if he is a heart or liver transplant doctor, he comes in, sits inside the hospital, looks at the infographic in front of him and in internal branding or a board inside the waiting room about his credentials. His conviction towards the doctor goes up, thereby healing goes up better. Outcome of a surgery would be better, because ours healthcare is to do with the mind of a person, mind of a patient, than anything else. He has to be 100% convinced mentally before he surrenders himself to the doctor. It is a lot of responsibility on a marketing guy when he markets the organization. That is why I see many of the digital marketing agencies really making a company or a hospital. It is very, very difficult for a non-healthcare person to run a digital marketing services for a hospital. So many doctors come to me saying that, Chitra, he said that he will do that. He said he will come up with so much of returns. But then I realized that they could not even fulfill the 10% of their promises, because it is a lot of, it is a huge difference. Hospital marketing and a product marketing is huge difference. I would say that not even 10% of BTL expenses which a product company would do, any hospital would do. Always hospitals will have frugal plan. Marketing budgets will be really, really less, compared to anybody else. Hospitals, if you see, have you ever seen hospitals giving advertisements comfortably in a newspaper, or in TV commercials? Have you seen? Because these are called ATL spend. ATL spends are very, very less compared to other products. It is usually BTL spend, that is below the line activities, because it is lesser expensive. That is why hospitals choose BTL spend. I remember one doctor coming to me and asking me, Chitra, I have this X amount of budget for marketing. Can you help me? You know what I said? I said, Doctor, it won't work unless you have at least 10 patients to come to you, come and tell about the greatness of your technology, because he had done something called computer navigated, some big deal, in terms of orthopedics at that time. But I said that, no, doctor, get your at least 10 to 50 patients who can talk about you. Okay, because word of mouth is extremely important, and unless you get them, I will not be able to promote you even though you have bigger marketing budget. So as I told you, there is a lot of difference. In fact, hospital marketing, it is more of editorial, awareness creation, press relationship. The difference is really huge.
Yes, from your answer itself, we could able to understand how big difference it makes. How important is to build the trust of the patients. So moving on to the next question, could you share your experience on offline marketing and how it's been affected during the pandemic?
Okay, offline marketing. I have been very fortunate to work at Apollo Hospital, which has huge marketing budgets and huge learnings at Apollo Hospitals. And I used to be a PR head at Apollo Hospitals, where I learned enormous things. Every crisis used to be an opportunity. So I am tuned in a way that every crisis in an organization, every challenge in a hospital has always been turned into an opportunity only. In offline marketing, ATL spend in a hospital is usually very, very less compared to BTL spend, that is below the line spend. For example, above the line spend is a newspaper, a TV commercial, newspaper advertisement, and it is BTL means these road shows, flyer distributions, hoardings. All these are BTL activities. Most of the hospitals focus on BTL activities. Only very few hospitals like Apollo or Fortis used to cut across. It is through the line, it is both ATL and BTL. It is TTL. Yeah. Actually, this pandemic has really thrown us into a great fix, actually. But the beauty is, I always say, X Factor has never had 1 day break also during pandemic. We knew very clearly that there is no offline activity at all. Almost it has come to zero. Okay, so we geared up in terms of digital marketing, and we also geared up in terms of editorial, because editorial is something which is a hard line for a hospital marketing. So I used to churn out a lot of stories, and I used to bring those stories to press, and it was useful for even the journalists liked it, because it was useful and honest, proper input to journalists. That way, doctors also got nice visibility. My clients also got nice visibility. We were finding enormous amount of innovative ways. We were using telemedicine support. We were using video consulting support. I used to go and tell referral doctors, install video consulting, so that his patients are comfortable talking to him through video consulting, so that they don't need to come to his clinic. And thereby, if there is a need, he can refer that patient to my bigger hospital, so that, if there is a need, if there is a genuine need for patient, it doesn't halt there. I had to take up the entire ecosystem into consideration. So I had to really connect the entire need of the ecosystem partners. Everybody had to be connected. So that is a challenge, and we enjoy doing it because hospitals where doctors were free, the usual stress was not there. Doctors were ready to listen to me, and I used to tell doctors, "Doctor, this is the time. Let us make the database ready. This is the time. Let us go back to our present clients and talk to them." You know, so many things we could streamline in terms of offline marketing during this pandemic. I really made use of this pandemic. I really spoke to doctors. In fact, I was also responsible in setting up COVID wards in doctors in several hospitals, understanding the dynamics, understanding the market need. I knew that many patients were not getting beds. Then I said, doctors, what are you doing when patients are not getting beds? Why don't you gear up? So I used to tell them to have their exclusive wards for COVID patients. And then I used to do a research, connect them to the right people. And, it has been very, very hectic phase for me. And luckily, my team has been supportive. All of us are working from homes. My entire team was has been geared up. I told you, even Sundays we worked, and there were days we worked till 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the night. So we had to work double the or three times more, but we won't be paid because doctors themselves won't be paid. So I never used to bother about all these things. We only felt patients have to be taken care, hospitals have to be taken care, and this is marketing at the end of the day.
Wow, Mrs. Chitra Bhaskar, it's really rare to see such a good intentions you had. You have worked really hard for the patient's wellness more than anything else. It's a great thing. Yeah. Moving forward, as you're running this X Factor company for almost 15 years, how do you see the perception of branding changed over a while? Like how it evolved and how important branding is in the present business environment, especially in the healthcare industry?
It's a nice question, Roshina. Thank you. Branding is extremely important, especially in healthcare. Okay. See, I will give you a scenario. If you can visualize this, you will be able to understand the importance of branding. Okay. What is branding? Branding is an emotional connect of a consumer with his brand, right? It is emotional. Okay. Now, coming back to the patient scenario, a patient's outcome or healthcare outcome totally depends on his emotional state only. Okay. So the patient has to feel that he is in the right hands and in the right safe hands of a doctor or a hospital. Unless he is emotionally convinced, mentally convinced that this particular doctor is the best for the outcome of his own health, he will never be able to recover 100%. So a recovery or the outcome of a surgery totally depends on the mental conviction of that patient on the doctor. That means branding has to play a major role in this patient's recovery. So hospitals branding is extremely important, and there's no two ways about it.
So true words. Patient's emotional state plays a major role in healing, and so do the branding. Yeah. Here's another interesting question, ma'am. Let's celebrate health through excellent healthcare practices. Marketing alone cannot accomplish much if basics are not sound. Quoted by you. So, what all will be the basics that hospitals should possess to make their marketing effective, you think?
Roshina, see, I was very small. I was just 24, 25 years when I joined marketing department of Apollo Hospital. I was a management trainee. I was given two, three departments. Like, do you want to join marketing? Do you want to join HR? These were the questions. I just joined marketing because at that time at Apollo Hospital, Mrs. Rekha Shetty was a head of marketing. And I went and told my daddy, Appa, that Appa, I see madam very happy, joyful, and very respected. So I want to join marketing. See, that was my thinking earlier. Okay. As a child, I joined marketing seeing a leader there. Okay. But then maybe I think now it is a destiny, and I'm very thankful for it. I wouldn't say it was a very intelligent decision I took. It was God's decision, I would say. Why I'm saying is that is how I have always worked. When a doctor is good, I will not bother to ask him to pay me for my consulting. I will go and work for him. Okay. So marketing which is superficial, marketing without the quality of the doctor, marketing without the quality of the system of a hospital, I have never been able to do at all these years. Okay. A frill decoration or a false promise or an ambassador coming and promising for a hospital, nothing works. It is a doctor who should inspire me to work, and a doctor who inspires only can survive. Everything else will fall flat, Roshina. We can place so many things inside the hospital, but unless the quality, the service is perfect, if the quality of the skill of the doctor is not perfect, everything will really fall flat. The system will throw the hospital out from the ecosystem. How much ever you tell, how much ever you give promises, patients will be able to feel the whole thing. That is why I always say, look inside. Only if the foundation is good, I will go outside. I have so many times I have rejected to work for many hospitals because I was never inspired to work for the doctor.
Absolutely. If basics are not good, it's very difficult. So now it makes a deep sense. Marketing alone cannot accomplish much if the basics are not sound. One awesome quote, ma'am. How important in healthcare the marketing is. Healthcare sector without marketing is possible.
No, I strictly recommend it should not be there because marketing has to be the backbone. I would even go one step ahead that even government hospitals should have marketing department because there are so many milestones. We need to develop confidence about government hospitals in the minds of patients. Okay, so we need to have marketing department in every single hospital. It is not like, you catch a patient, you cut the patient in surgery. It is beyond all these things. It is not bringing a patient in. Marketing is identifying a need and then gearing up and tailor make yourself as a hospital according to the needs of the patients is what is marketing. We need to really educate public so that they come in early, get themselves tested early, thereby the insurance burden also reduces. It is a whole gamut and it's a vast thing, Roshina. It is such a big, if a patient can catch the ailment earlier through preventive measures, and if the patient is well informed, he doesn't need to go through the surgery after 4 years or 5 years. Thereby, insurance burden comes down. Yeah. So I feel marketing has to be there in every single organization. Even if it is a single doctor, we need to have a marketing.
So you're telling even when there is a great need for healthcare in developing countries like India, marketing is still essential?
See, marketing, as I told you, is not bringing patient in. It is much more. As I
Okay,
told
ma'am.
you, communicating the right things by a responsible, right doctor amongst the public, creating awareness, right? And getting patients tested early, thereby the insurance burden comes down. Yeah. So it is just not business development alone, it's a whole lot of things.
Yeah, so as you say, the marketing is very important. What is your opinion on ethics in healthcare marketing?
Whether it is hospital or a doctor or a product company, being ethical is the primary goal of a business, should be the primary goal of a business, more so for hospitals. Yeah, today we need to accept the fact that the trust deficit is huge amongst the public. People are not trusting doctors or hospitals. We have not addressed it at all. We need to take the responsibility that we have not been able to address this. There are many, many doctors who are very, very ethical. I know them personally. And there are other doctors also. We need to accept that they have not been ethical. There is this playing with the fear factor in the minds of the people and telling wrong things so that people will come get into admissions. I always ask this question to the doctors: what is the ratio of outpatient and inpatient? If 100 patients come into an outpatient department, how many patients get converted into inpatient? They will say 15 patients who come inside my hospital will be inpatients. That means there is a forcibly surgeries are happening. So these are the touch points, and I will try to reduce that. And because of this, you are never growing. I always say, where is a need for unethical practices? When there is a population is huge, diseases is huge. Every second patient, every second human being citizen in India is a diabetic. Every fifth patient is having a back pain problem. Where is a need for unethicality? Where is a time to cater to all these patients at all? We need to remove this scarcity mentality. Definitely we need to remove the unethical practices, and we need to communicate to patients to rebuild the trust. And I'm taking COVID as a very big positive step towards rebuilding the trust. We, every single doctor has to do it. I'm actually writing an article about one doctor inside the COVID ward for 8 days. And it is beautiful. What he says this is an opportunity where I can show my patriotism by serving patients, caring for patients during the COVID time. This is such a beautiful thinking of a doctor, how he really is a frontline warrior. So these kinds of trust loaded stories have to be there. Patients have to be informed. Doctors are following ethical practices. So that is very important. Now we need to rebuild the trust.
Obviously, that is one of the essential things to rebuild the trust among the patients where it comes from ethical practices only. But do you think it is being followed by all?
Not by all. Many are not following ethical practices. That's a fact. We need to face it.
Okay, as we are talking about the ethics, similarly, healthcare marketing is governed by many laws and regulations. Could you share some of the restrictions with us?
Medical Council of India has given a very clear guidelines of what to market, how to market, and there is a big umbrella given under which there are guidelines. Okay, and it is not very difficult to follow these guidelines. It is very very easy, and when you really put your mind into the guidelines, you can really communicate 101 thing, or if not lakhs and lakhs of things can be communicated. So you should not say that I'm the best. You could probably say I'm one of the best. As a hospital, you cannot say I can give a cure. Allopathy doctors can never say that they can cure. So these tall promises are something which MCI doesn't like, and because patients can fall prey to these false promises. So MCI is very clear about it. All you can do is use testimonials, which is original, right? And then you can create n number of awareness talks and topics and videos and blogs. N number of things can be done. Yeah.
That's a crisp insight about MCI. So, who gets benefited with the marketing, consumers or management?
I would say consumers. I would want it to be consumers. Or, Roshina, I am a different person where if there is somebody who is winning, the other person need not lose. There can be a scenario where there can be win win for all of us. Throughout my life, I have only seen win win for the entire people, which is possible. I would first want the patient to win, okay? And then I want all of us to win, and which is possible, which is absolutely possible.
This episode is sponsored by Medrich Knowledge Sharing Forum. This is the right place to share the interesting articles, queries, case studies regarding to the healthcare management field. Through the forum, you will be notified with healthcare job alerts, event alerts, and also healthcare podcast, healthcare recent updates. To share and seek the knowledge in healthcare management field, join the forum today. Visit the Medrich Knowledge Sharing Forum.
Really a nice answer. Win win policy. Great thing. Yeah. Could you share some of the trends in healthcare digital marketing?
Yeah. See, marketing is going towards digital. So consultants have to gear up towards digital marketing for 2 to 3 reasons. There is less pilferage. Okay, pilferage I mean here is, see, for example, there is a hoarding. Okay, which for a good hoarding in a good location, you need to pay, for example, 1 lakh a rupee per rental. Okay, and if that hoarding carries an information about infertility of a hospital, there is a pilferage that a child within 5 years or 8 year also is looking at that hoarding, right? And a 80-year-old man is also looking at the hoarding. So there is a pilferage here, according to me. Okay. Similarly, you give flyer distribution. Okay. Only 0.7% of flyer distribution gets noticed, right? If you distribute 1,000, 1 lakh flyers, you get only 7 calls or something, right? So pilferage in offline marketing is very high, whereas pilferage in digital marketing is much lesser. Cost of digital marketing is much lesser as well. But the flip side of the whole thing is entire generation is going towards digital. So what do? We need to be innovative. Innovative in terms of how do you communicate, how nice your graphic is, how nice your video is. On one hand, on the other hand, innovative in terms of what your offerings are inside your hospital. Look around, Look at the need of the client according to the need of the consumer, tailor make your service, innovate, deliver, and then go and tell it in the digital marketing. Yes, I need to make sure it does not. I need to make a balance. Marketing, I have never spent huge in terms of marketing. See, whatever Apollo spends or Fortis spends, I won't even spend even 50% of their spend to my clients. I used to wonder if 1 lakh rupee budget is allocated for a diabetic company, a hospital which is dealing with diabetology. Okay, how many patients will I have to get to offset this 1 lakh? I used to really wonder. But if it is for a hair transplant company, one or two patients admissions, I can offset this 1 lakh, get back that 1 lakh. This return of investment used to bother me a lot. So I used to really choose only those hospitals which will have cardiac CABG, or which used to have laparoscopy, where I can take that money spent on marketing. So return on investment was very important for me, has been, of course, even today has been very important. But earlier, digital marketing was not there. Now I can even work for diabetology because, digital marketing is there. So it is possible. But those days, one advertisement, if I have to give in paper, press, and if it is only a physiotherapy center, and for every consultation, what they can earn is only 800 rupees max. Where will I recover that 1 lakh rupees spent on the newspaper? I used to wonder, I used to worry about it.
Right. When we tailor make the needs, when we clear about both consumers and management needs, I think we can nail it perfect. But then do you think the expenses made on the marketing affect the affordability of the service?
It is not only marketing spend that is going to affect the affordability of the patient. It is everything together. You need to be conscious of everything. You have your AC going all over the day and you're spending so much, and then you're cutting cost in marketing is nonsense, right? So you need to be cost effective across all departments.
Yeah, but how need, demand, and supply are connected to the marketing concept here, you think?
Whether it is healthcare or any other industry, it is always demand and supply only. Okay, we have always bent our backs depending upon the demand. One more classical example I can tell you is the rural camps that many hospitals undertake has been a classical example for this. Rural population does not have the means to come to tier 2 tier 3 cities. They don't even know that this kind of ailment exists at all. For example, if watery eye problem exists, they will continue to have it till their end. Okay, but if a hospital goes to rural villages, does the examination free of cost, understand, cure them there itself, or care for them there itself. If there is a need, bring them to the, for example, Madurai or any tier 2 3 cities, get them right and send them back. This has been happening all these years. So demand and supply has been there for ages. It is very applicable for hospitals also.
You told through the camps, hospitals can reach the rural areas. What's your view on other alternatives? Like, how could marketing reach the rural people and the people with less affordability and accessibility?
Before 3 years, I went to one of the top telemedicine company and I said, this is going to be the future and I want to work for you. When I was sitting with Dr. K.M. Cherian, a legend cardiac surgeon, he was telling me, Chitra, if a child is diagnosed with the congenital heart disease and if he can give treatment, care during the early days itself, he can live a complete healthy life throughout his life. But patients in villages don't know this. So I'm wondering what to do. How do we reach them? Because I have my trust. For example, even today I have 40 lakh rupees sitting idle, wanting and wanting a deserving patient from the village. If somebody can identify these deserving patients and send them to me, I can even do free of cost and send them back to them to lead a proper life, because he could, that kuti small child can become an Abdul Kalam or even a big doctor. So this is when it struck me that telemedicine can help me. So I have gone and knocked at the doors of every telemedicine service provider and a very big telemedicine company. Before 3 years, I signed a contract. I said I will do it with my full heart out, because telemedicine before 3 years was not full fledged and it was not at all taking off, because all stakeholders were not connected properly, because Telemedicine providers were technology providers. They didn't know how the healthcare domain worked. They didn't know how to really connect, how to make patients use this technology, how to connect doctors. Doctors did not understand beyond a point in time how to reach their patients. So that is when I said it was my responsibility to go to them, go to connect super specialists, because super specialists are who are much needed for patients in tier 2 tier 3 cities. Thanks to COVID is going to get better thanks to telemedicine. I would say I'm taking everything into a positive sense, Roshina. And this video consulting, teleconsulting, telemedicine is going to reach the poorest of the poor in India. And it is definitely going to help everybody. And I have the entire plan ready for me in my mind and in papers. We can make a difference. I feel more and more players will come into digital marketing, and more ethical practices will come in. More awareness will be there amongst the patients. So they will demand more ethicality in terms of communication, in terms of marketing. So it is going to be really positive.
It's really a wow moment how you have been working so earlier on this. Of course, you're gonna make a huge differences in this. All the best for your future plans. So, moving on to the final question. All through your journey, who inspired you the most, Mrs. Chitra Bhaskar?
Yeah, many people. Madam Preetha Reddy, Managing Director of Apollo Hospital, the way she used to work hard at that stature. Rama Venugopal, Madam, I admire her, and I'm very glad that I can sit equivalent to her. Itself is my big inspiration. Very ethical, extremely ethical, and extremely knowledgeable. And Dr. K.M. Cherian, I have written 40 articles for him. The kind of life he has lived, every day has been a challenge, and he used to throw himself into the challenging situation. See, I always remember whenever I think of Dr. K.M. Cherian, that Swami Vivekananda said that each day, even if you don't come across one challenge in a day, that means you're not living a right life. This is the kind of life I have seen in Dr. K.M. Cherian's life, the entire life. My father has been my inspiration.
Okay.
And kind of at the age of 90 also, honesty, leadership quality, bringing people together, not making people fight even inside the family, his humility. And always he tells you should work so much that you should not have time to even breathe. That is the kind of words he used to tell me. He is my great inspiration.
Great. So we are done with the session. Thank you so much for joining with us today, Mrs. Chitra Bhaskar. This is one good session. All the listeners are going to benefit from this and from your insights about healthcare marketing. So all the best for your fantastic journey. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Roshina. Thank you for this wonderful opportunity.
Bye-bye. Hello listeners, if you have any questions regarding this episode that you want to ask to Mrs. Chitra Bhaskar, please follow the topic in our MedReach Knowledge Sharing Forum. Leave us your comment. Thank you for listening. Hope you all enjoyed the session. Keep gaining the knowledge with Healthcare Industry Expert by MedReach Podcast through MedReach Knowledge Sharing Forum. Until the next episode, take care.